Hi all, I'm Stephanie Hein, State Representative for Missouri's 136th District, located in Springfield. It's been a while since I have done a video for you all, but we had a pivotal event happen in our state legislature that you need to know about. Thursday, April 18th, 2024 is a day that forever changed public education in our state. On that day, an omnibus education bill known as Senate Bill 727 was brought to the House floor for debate. 727 originated in the Senate as a 12-page bill with the sole purpose of expanding the school voucher tax credit cap to $75 million. By the time it left the Senate, the bill ballooned to a 160-page document that touched nearly every type of K-12 education, while increasing the voucher tax credit cap and increasing the qualifying income threshold to receive voucher benefits to just over $160,000. The bill was brought to the House floor on Thursday for debate. Well, a pseudo-debate. You see, for a 160-page bill in a 163-member chamber, only 3 people were called upon to speak in opposition to the bill before debate was abruptly shut down. Shortly after I left the House floor, I did an interview with a local reporter, and quite frankly, I was frustrated with the process and devastated by what we had just done to public education in my state, my community, and worse yet, rural Missouri. My colleagues overheard my interview and said, "Wow, you had your teacher voice going strong on that one." And I did, which led me here today, sharing my thoughts on the bill with you. Now, I will be the first to admit that there are some really great pieces for public education in the bill. However, the price tag attached simply does not make them financially feasible. The bill, in essence, establishes a series of unfunded mandates. It's also important to note that key education organizations in our state opposed the bill. So let's break down the financial aspects of the bill and why I voted no. Funding. Vouchers are paid for through tax credits. They are not subject to the appropriations process and divert money away from the state's general revenue fund. This is a significant distinction because every single item in the bill that supports public education is subject to appropriations, including $227 million in new funding for public schools, $61 million in new funding for pre-K programs, $15 million for the small school grants program, $40 million to help increase teacher pay, $3 million in teacher recruitment scholarships, and $78 million to encourage school districts to maintain a 5-day class schedule. These are all great proposals, but did you notice the price tag starting to rack up? I would be thrilled to support all of these items if the funding were guaranteed, but it's not. Instead, the funding for public education is at the mercy of state legislatures. Funding for vouchers is not. Now, to be fair, there's a very small percentage of voucher funding that is tethered to funding the foundation formula, as well as a minuscule amount tethered to funding transportation. But the amount is so negligible when you look at the big picture. I sit on the budget committee, and I cannot tell you how many times I have heard, "We don't have money for this, we don't have money for that," or "We don't want to obligate future lawmakers to long-term financial commitments." So the likelihood of the public education pieces being funded long-term is slim to none. Keep in mind, the Republicans enacted a series of tax cuts with additional reduction triggers a couple of years ago. The state isn't expected to collect anywhere near enough new revenue to fund these new programs, and ARPA monies are coming to an end. No future funding source was tied to this bill to ensure the long-term sustainability of the promises the bill makes. Unless, of course, we take away funding from other state programs and shift it to elementary and secondary education. So then, who are you going to take money from? Mental health, senior services, veteran services, higher education? It forces future lawmakers to pick winners and losers among our public entities. Or I suppose we could really work to increase consumer spending in areas that directly fund some of our critical state agencies, like the lottery, recreational marijuana, or gambling. But I don't know about you. I don't want our state agencies to become so dependent on these types of funding sources that without them, they would cease to exist. At the end of the day, 82 individuals altered the course for public education as we know it in our state in exchange for voucher expansion, charter schools, and $460 million of unfunded mandates. I'm worried about our public education system, and it's why I could not sleep last night. But we'll get back up, we'll fight, and we'll continue to win.